Hi guys, Belladonna Black here. Before I start this video, I would like to apologise for not posting any videos for a few days. I've been extremely busy with work. Anyone who has been following me on Twitter will know that I was part of the Icons Festival in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as an exhibitor with the company I work for. Icons is a festival for music, tech and screen. I met some amazing people and had drinks with the producer of The Matrix and the Harry Potter films, and got to see Chuck D and DJ Lord from Public Enemy performing. So it was 6 a.m. starts and not getting home until after midnight for a few days. If you've been following me on Twitter, you'll also know that I was at Japfest in Dublin, Ireland on Sunday, which is part of the Irish Drifting Championships. So I decided to take Monday off and get a few things sorted out at home, which had been neglected over the last week. As a way of apology, I will upload a number of videos today to make up for all the days I didn't upload any. So, with that out of the way, it's time to turn off the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin. Number 1. So this is not much of a let's not meet, but more of a weird thing that has been going on with my friend. So my friend that I'll choose named Bob is a friend from last year when I was in middle school. Bob was a so-called loner, and we only really talked when we waited for the late bus. Lately, and by that I mean about a couple of months, but during the summer, I only saw him one time during the school year. He just kind of disappeared. I always ride my bike at night and at sunset around the neighbourhood, and for some odd reason his house is the only one not lit up. I know he lives there, but I never see anything go on around there. Whenever I'm riding at night, I can see their windows, and their house is like pitch black and dead empty. Now, I have no history of seeing things, and I've been tested, but it seems as if someone is standing in a way that I cast a shadow on the wall. Not a lot of you are going to say, "What a creep for staring at his house window," but that's just what I don't get. I know he hasn't moved. I saw him one time this year, as well as summer, and he went right to that house, and yet no lights or nothing. He is also on Steam almost 24/7, except for about 2 months ago he just disappeared off the grid. I'm really getting weirded out because the neighbours hasn't seen anything else, and his house seems to be getting worse and worse by the day. It also has a popped out screen on one of the bedroom windows, which is kind of odd because it usually was pretty good looking about last year. I'm just trying to be a good friend. If you can give me feedback on what I can do, would be nice as well. I just want to make sure he's alright. So my friend Bob, please be alright. Number 2. I'm a 17-year-old female and live in a small city just near the capital of Scotland. This happened about 5 years ago, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. Me and one of my friends were out in the summer and decided to take the back path home. It was still daylight outside, as it was only 3 o'clock, and there were a lot of houses in the street, so we didn't think there would be a problem. I lived the next street up, but if you walked through this path, it was longer, and us being stupid 12-year-olds, we decided to take the longest route possible. Anyway, on the right side of the street was houses, and on the left was a steep grass hill with a few trees and bushes near the bottom, which led to a fence with a railway track on the other side. As it was still early, we decided to walk over and sit on the grass. We sat there talking about 20 minutes until my friend just stopped mid-conversation and seemed to be staring at the tree near the bottom of the hill. When I asked her what she was looking at, she remained silent and just kept staring at the tree. I asked her again, and she was looking at it in a louder tone this time, and still no answer. As I went to turn around, she slowly lifted her hand and pointed towards the bent-over tree at the bottom of the hill. Hesitant at first, I slowly turned my head, and what I saw I can remember till this day. There, looking behind the tree, was an old man, maybe about 64, face dripping with blood from a wound in his head, staring motionless at us with a twisted grin on his face. I could see his hand was grasping something, but I couldn't see what it was, as it was hidden by the tree stump. Me and my friend got up slowly and started to back the hell out of there, and that's when the guy started to run towards us. We ran for our lives down the street and found a garden gate that was open and hid in it. The man walked by the gate, looking in the garden, then to the opposite side of the road. He never noticed us, but at this point it became clear what he was holding in his hand. It was a knife, and it was giant. We stayed as silent as we could until we saw him leave the street and go down, away from the direction we were heading. Once he was out of sight, we backtracked and ran the way home. Straight out of the street and straight back home. I have never been in that street since, nor have I seen the man. Me and the girl that was there at the point aren't friends anymore, due to some personal things. But we do talk sometimes, and when we do, and we talk about old memories, this always gets brought up. We both remember it so clearly. We don't know what happened to the blood-headed old man, or how he got that scar, but all I can say is, old creeper from the hill, let's not meet again. Number 3. Hi, I'm a 27-year-old woman. My family consists of my husband, myself, and our 2 children. About a year ago, we decided to move out of our apartment into our own house, so that our children could have a yard to play in. We moved to a nice, quiet neighbourhood with very little movement or noise at night. I worked as a server at a restaurant on evening shift, so I could get home around 11 p.m. My husband worked the overnight shift, getting home around 7 a.m. When I would arrive home from work, our babysitter would leave to go home. For the first week that we lived in our new house, the babysitter would always comment about noises coming from the basement. I figured that maybe it was a mouse or possibly even a squirrel, since nobody had lived in the house for a couple of years before we moved in, and the basement was only used as a laundry room. On one particular night, when I got home, I realised I needed to wash my uniform for work the next evening, because during the day I had several errands to run and wouldn't have time to do the wash. So around 11:30, I gathered up a load of dirty clothes and made my way to the basement, being careful not to wake the children, as the door to the basement was squarely and had a chain lock that would jiggle, and they were both light sleepers. As I made my way to the basement, everything seemed fine, until I noticed that the light was not working. I'm not one to spook easily, so I just started to do the laundry in the dark. As I'm adding the detergent, I started to hear some rustling coming from the boiler room. I figured it was just an animal, but as it was dark, I decided I would just check the area in the morning. I put the clothes and started back up the stairs. When I get about halfway up the stairs, I hear the door to the boiler room open and footsteps walking out. I stopped dead in my tracks and peered down to see a man looking back at me. I started to run up the stairs and he ran after me. I barely got to the door and tried to close it when he started pushing on the door. So, how was I able to get the door closed and locked? The man steadily bit on the door, trying to get it open. I went to my kids' room and gathered them up and grabbed my phone. We ran outside to call the police. I told them the story and they said they would send someone out. In the meantime, we went to a neighbour's house to wait. When the police arrived, they entered the house. I didn't hear anything for about 15 minutes. I then heard the police screaming, "Get down, get down, put your weapon down." About 10 minutes later, they came out with a man in handcuffs. I came to find out that the man had secretly been living in the house, hiding out from the police, as they had a warrant for his arrest, for an assault and battery case pending against him. Police found the man had broken in through the basement door and was hiding in the children's closet with a knife from our kitchen. Even though the man was arrested, I still felt uneasy in that house, and we moved 2 months later. So, creepy fugitive living in my basement? Let's never meet. Number 4. When I was around 16, me and my cousin, let's call her M, were walking back from the village pantry. We would often walk up there with a few bucks to get snacks or drinks during the summer. We had been doing it since we were around 14 or so, to get away from the house filled with our other cousins. There are about 14 of us altogether, and we managed to get everyone there. But it was just us that day, and wanted to get some fresh air. I guess our parents thought we were smart enough and old enough to handle the couple of blocks walk it was to the small store, Now, to give a bit of perspective, we looked young. We always had. I'm 26 and still get mistaken for a teen now and again, while Em always looked younger than that, even though we were just a few months apart in age. Puberty hadn't fully hit us yet, so we were flat in the chest area. On our way back, enjoying our sodas and whatever candy we got, I think I got a huge jawbreaker that time. A van pulled up. I remember having a strange feeling. It was one of those old vans. It was coloured in muted browns with large windows. It wouldn't stand out if you were looking. It came to a stop next to me. I had my cousin walking the inside of the road, since there wasn't a sidewalk. The man driving looked at us and smiled. It was one of those smiles that seems like they were trying too hard. Or maybe I had just that feeling of don't trust creeping up my spine. He had a hat on covering his hair, but I think it might have been a darker colour of blonde. He also had large sunglasses on, hiding most of his face. We kept walking as we glanced to him. He kept the van moving. Hey, do you two want a ride? The weather was nice, it may be a bit on the hot side. Me and Em stared at him, and at the same time, in the same tone, said, no. It was rather firm in tone, without being rude, curt and to the point. Come on, it's okay. Where are you going? I'll give you a ride. The man pushed the subject. At this point, we were only about 3 houses away from the grandmother's house where I was staying with my family while our house we bought was being built. The man seemed to try and hide something, as if he was nervous. No thank you, we live just down the street, I said, pointing down the street while moving to stand between Em and the van. I had that warning bell go off in my head, like the tornado sirens that went off every Friday. Come on, it's okay, just get in. I was debating on if I should start screaming or just grab Em's hand and run, when, as if being called by some grandmother's sixth sense, my grandmother came out onto the back porch, looking around. She had this worried look on her face, as if she could feel something was wrong in the air itself. She was doing this hand-wringing thing she did when she was uneasy. Without hesitation, I lifted my hand to cup the side of my mouth and screamed with all my might. We were only about a house away now, and it's never stopped moving. Hey, Grandma, this guy is trying to pick us up. My grandmother looked to me. I don't know if the man had seen her, but suddenly the van was tearing away from us. His tires screeched as he turned on the intersection my grandmother's house was on, and sped away as if he was being chased. Now that I think about it, we should have called the cops, but I was just happy to be home and safe with Em. Let's never meet Mr. Creepy Man in the creepy van. Number 5. So, I was in the 6th grade and I met this girl. At first she seems chill and fun, but then one day I saw that she had wrote something on her arm. It looked like a circle with an X through it. I asked what it is, and she told me that she would become a Slenderman proxy. Since I didn't know what the fuck it was, I shrugged it off. So every day she told me I was her best friend. After a bit of research, I figured out that somebody that wanted to become a proxy would have to kill their best friend. So I kind of flipped out, but eventually just told myself I was being delusional. But when the next day at school, every fucking inch of her body, including her face, was covered in the Slenderman sign. So she brought me into the bathroom, and I'll never forget her face. Her pupils were huge and her eyes were twitching. She was whispering something under her breath about Jeff and how she would avenge him. She brought out a knife and started hyperventilating, went right for my face. Somehow, I got out of the way and ran out. So a couple of days later, she's in a mental hospital. I went to the principal and she sat me down and took my hands and said, "Listen up, you don't want this to happen again. You don't talk about it, hun." I was shaking, and then she told me that the girl who tried to kill me plan was to cut off my face, wear it as a mask, and go around killing people. She wanted to take my body too and steal and cut it open. The part that really got to me is that she was going to fucking eat me, then throw me up in the woods for Slenderman because he told her to. So, moral of the story, creepypasta is whack and the internet can fuck up kids' minds. Hi guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below and subscribe to my channel.